What's up, it's your boy John Domando, and yo, I've been thinking about making this video for a little bit, so here we go. Now this video is going to be called Why You Should Work Hard on Perfecting Your Accent in the Foreign Language that you're learning. It's not going to be all that, but basically similar to that. So this was actually inspired by one of my pen pals that I'm learning Vietnamese with. And so I'm going to present a case as to why you should try really hard to make sure that your accent is and your pronunciation is perfect, or as close as you can to be perfect. Now, one reason is that there are tonal languages out there, like for example Chinese, Thai, Vietnamese, etc., etc. Whereas if you pronounce a word just a little bit wrong with a slightly wrong tone, then it could be a completely different word. Like for example, when I was talking to my Vietnamese pen pal, I forget what I said, but she said, she's like, oh, don't say that. She's like, yeah, that's a bad word. It means like the F word, right? So I was just like, oh, snap, right? And you know, that can even go for languages that aren't even tonal. Like for example, Spanish. I was speaking to this Spanish girl that I know at work, and I wanted to say like aprender. I accidentally said aprendejo. It sounded like a bendejo, which means dumbass. And she was just like, no, don't say that, right? So it's really important that you're really precise with the words that you say, because you know, when you're going out, when you're meeting people for the first time, you know, you don't want to offend anybody. What you're trying to do is you're trying to connect with people. You're trying to lift people up. You're trying to show people like, oh, well, hey, like look at how hard I've worked to, learn this language. And this is kind of a funny story, like along this topic, but I just remembered it right now. So it's funny. So I was at work, right? And I like to socialize with people. Sometimes I work. I just ask people like, like what's up, like where you from and stuff like that. So there's this lady, right, who was on the same lane with me. I work at like a warehouse, so like we're on the same lane. So whatever, we were just talking. I was like, where are you from, by the way? And she's like, oh, I originally lived in like a different state. I forget which state it was, but like a long time. Oh, ooh, damn, voice crack. But like she's like, yeah, but a long time ago, I moved from China, right? And then I was just like, oh, like, cause I'm not really studying Chinese, like at least not right now. Like maybe in the future, who knows? But so I think I said, 你来自哪里在中国? Something along those lines. I think it means where do you come from in China? And she just kind of gave me this look. She's like, I don't know what you're saying. I was kind of confused, right? I was just like, did I say it wrong? She's like, no. She's like, no, I'm from like the South China, so I don't speak Mandarin. I speak Cantonese, right? And I think I said something. I forget what I said in Cantonese, but it was really wrong. Like, because I haven't studied any of those languages, so like whatever I said was like really wrong. And she gave me another look, and she kind of just went back to work or something like that. And then so I was like, okay, maybe I just need to study more, right? Then so I kept going to work, and then she came up to me later, and she's like, yeah, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble doing stuff like that, right? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, a lot of people will get offended if you go up to them and start pronouncing stuff wrong, and like they might just look at you like you're crazy. Like, and I was just like, she's like, yeah, if you really want to learn, you should, take a class. And I was just like, yeah, well, I know a lot of people who take classes and they don't really learn very well. So, and I feel like talking to people, and doing things like that and watching movies is like the most fun and the most effective. And then she kind of just like looked at me again. She was just like, yeah, you should take a class. It was funny, It was, oh man, I remember that, and I was just like, damn, well that sucks, right? So that's one reason why you should make sure that your accent is as accurate as possible. It just means a lot to people that you try your best to speak their language as accurately as possible, and they'll really be impressed when it comes to your pronunciation. They're just like, oh my god, like, and once they find out like that you've never been to the country, or if you have the money to go to the country, like, you know, either way, like, it's not your native language, so you put in all that work to, and then it just shows from the way you're speaking, and like they just can't help but be impressed, you know. Another reason would be it just gives you a higher sense of pride, you know, because for a lot of people, their goal is to like sound as native as possible, which I'd say is a pretty good goal, you know. So, and not to mention that the path to get there, it can be really fun too. Like, for example, just consuming, it's depending on the language, like if you're really interested in the culture, which you should be, like, because, you know, why would you learn a language that you're not really interested in the culture? The more and more you consume, like, and immerse yourself with like native content, and like surround yourself with native speakers and doing things like that, the better and better you'll get. And like, if you enjoy the culture and enjoy all the things around the language, then you're really gonna have a lot of fun doing it, you know. And no matter how long it takes, like, because at the end of the day, no matter how much you learn, you're never gonna fully master a foreign language, like, no matter what, right? So it doesn't matter, because you're as close as possible to mastering that language, and that's going to impress nearly anybody, especially for the more difficult languages that you learn. So a couple tips that you guys can use to better your accent in a foreign language is like I said earlier, listen to as much content as possible. That's one thing. B, if you can, surround yourself with native speakers. Just listen. You don't even have to be, like, if you're at a level where you can't understand everything perfectly, like, that's fine. You can just be around them, like, listen to the way they pronounce things, listen to all that stuff, and you'll be surprised at how much you pick up for the accent and for new words if you keep on learning, like, new vocabulary and so on and so forth while you're immersing yourself. So those are a couple ways that you can better your accent, and a couple reasons why you should better your accent. Now, I know I haven't posted in a while, and yeah, it's because I've been really busy with other stuff. So I'm actually gonna, because there's also a lot of reasons why you don't necessarily have to make your accent perfect in a foreign language, and I'm gonna talk about that in the next video that I'm gonna record after this. But thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, make sure you guys check out my second channel, John Do Mondo, and make sure you guys check out this next video that's coming up and all the other videos before it if you guys haven't seen it already. And just leave me a comment down below what you guys want to see. I'll do my best to talk about it. Like I said, like, I'm not an expert on language learning, but I'd say right now I'm a really high level in 2 languages, which is English and French. So I'd say that I'm a little, like, at least a little qualified to talk about this. Like, it's about as qualified as anybody. So, and more to come, obviously, with the other languages I'm learning. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Mondo out.